guys, it's about 8:20 here, the 18th of January 2016, and not too long ago I actually just finished my first interview with a company to go teach in Japan. I'm not going to name any of the company names right now until I know which company that I will actually be working for, but this is one of those big ones that they hire you and then they'll place you in a city wherever you're actually going to be hired by a school, essentially. The interview actually went really well, in my opinion. Mainly he asked my name, what any teaching experience I had was, what my Japanese was like, and we actually had a pretty small conversation in Japanese, but if your Japanese is actually fairly good, it will really actually open up what schools that they can put you in, because as my interviewer was saying, in the junior high schools these people went to college to study teaching English, so they're gonna have pretty good English. You're not gonna run into a lot of people that probably won't speak English with you. In the elementary schools, which is the other level that they'll place you in, you actually will have people and they're like, they go, no English at all. And it's not like a prejudice or anything, but they just don't want to speak it because they also teach everything else, like math and science and all the other classes that these students are required to take. Being able to speak a little bit of Japanese as well, you can actually still communicate with these people and not have any problems. The 2.5 years, I missed a semester when I was taking Japanese academically at Western Carolina because there weren't enough people to take the class. So they had to actually cancel the class, my 302 class that I wanted to take. I can't fault them for that. That's an academic thing and there's nothing I can do about it. But the fact that he said my Japanese was really good actually really impressed him, and it also impressed me because I'm like, I don't know Japanese. It's about the easiest way to put it. Other than that, he talked about possibly having to work certain Saturdays, which, if you know anything about Japanese school systems, it's not uncommon for them to have any Saturday classes. And because of that, working a Saturday isn't uncommon. But he also said that it's more the very high-end, as I'm going to put it, hoity-toity schools that will more likely consistently have a Saturday class. He also asked, if I was available to help work with clubs so I can, speak and be with the students a little bit more. So, I told him that I did play tennis and I did play basketball and I did swim, and having those sports by me is actually going to be a good thing. Sorry, my nose is running. It's cold today. It's cold. It's in the single digits for all I know. Let's see what else. Talked about, networking with the students, which is fine. He talked about preferences that I would actually have living where. The place I'm looking at teaching is in Saitama, which is about an hour north-ish of Tokyo. It's like 46 minutes by the JR line, which is their subway, railway, train system, however you actually want to label it. And it's a city. I actually would prefer to be in a city, just because I grew up in a city, as much as I like Waynesville. And as much as I enjoyed living in Asheville for the 2.5, almost 3 years that Kyle and I did live there, I prefer a fairly busy city. And there's nothing wrong with the rural areas, that's just not me. One of the other things that he said was, especially if I got put in an elementary school, was the fact that I would probably have to teach through singing. And this is actually something I experienced myself when I was taking Spanish back in high school. Little disclaimer, I don't like Spanish. I much prefer my Japanese. And one of the ways we did it was we would actually have songs played and we would translate, and we would also kind of hear how the words were sounding. And that's one thing that he was telling me that a lot of elementary school students would have to learn so they could hear the beat of the word. And I sang Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star, which was okay. It was just all of a sudden very sudden. Another big thing that I thought was really cool was he was asking was I allergic to any food, and that's not the cool part, I promise, which I'm not, that I know of yet. But Japan actually has a really big, it's like a program actually in school based around lunch. Lunch is actually a class where they talk about the nutrition and what the different foods will do for your body and what, categories they'll fit in. And one of the things being the teacher is the fact that I have to be the role model. So I can't sit there and I can't be a picky eater and I can't say, ugh, well, I don't like fish, so I'm not going to eat it. So it's definitely going to be an interesting way for me to try different foods is through the lunches that I would probably get at the school. Now, I don't know what school I'm going to be at. I don't know any of that stuff. I know one of the big lunch cultures in Japan is actually the bento box, which we'll insert a little picture, maybe here, if we decide to. And I don't know if the school I'm at will actually prefer bento, or if we'll actually have lunches provided by the school, which that is very, very different from what I've seen than what we do here in America. They don't have a lunchroom. They go get the food and they eat it in their classrooms instead, which, if that comes and they let me, I'll have to talk to the school. I would probably actually videotape what the experience is like for you guys. But other than that, the the interview went really, really well. It's not a yes or a no yet, but he has to talk to the hiring manager. The guy I was talking to, his name is Philip. I can't remember his last name at the moment. But what he said was he was going to give me a really glowing review because I was kind of myself. Don't be afraid to talk about certain experiences you've had in any of your jobs. Don't be afraid to be yourself. I mean, if you're absolutely bonkers, I didn't say that. Don't be crazy. But don't hide your personality. Don't hide you. And that's probably going to be one of the better ways to get the job if this is what you're wanting to do. Right now, I'm still in step 1 with a couple of different companies. I'll keep you updated as things roll in. But if I get the job that I just interviewed for today, I will actually be going out in about the middle of March. School in Japan starts in April. I'll do a later video on that one once I learn the school system a bit more. But yeah, I only applied a week ago, a little over a week ago, and I've technically already got 3 interviews lined up and ready to get going. So this is exciting. It's also nerve-wracking. So we'll keep you guys updated. So for now, peace. じゃあまたね, and see you in the next video. Bye.